The Omen is a movie released in 1976 starring Gregory Peck and Lee Remick and directed by Richard Donner. Now, this is the original version of The Omen and not the very, very lazy 2006 remake, which is almost a shot for shot remake of this movie. I, going into this, had only really seen the remake, and when I did watch this movie, I was just left frustrated with the 2006 remake, it just being exactly the same as what I've just watched. And for me, this is a very good film, so the idea of remaking it is pretty pointless for me. But his story centres around Robert Thorne, who's an American ambassador, and we're introduced to him on a day where his wife is giving birth. It turns out, well, he's met with the news from a priest that his wife has given birth to a baby who's dead. So, in order to spare her grief, he agrees to the priest's plan of taking in a baby that has no mother, has no parents, and they decide to raise this baby as their own, with only Robert really knowing that this isn't actually their baby. Now, what we find out is this baby, Damien, is actually the antichrist, the devil's son. And there is a plan in place for Damien to essentially rise up, well, go along Robert Thorne with while he's getting his power and while he's putting him in a position of influence. And then ultimately the plan is to bump off his wife and then kill off Robert Thorne when he stands to inherit everything. And then he's in a position of power and influence to be able to rule over the world. Yeah, rule dominion over the world. Now, this movie, it isn't really about Robert Thorne and his wife dealing with Damien. It's about Damien's rise to power. And it is a very, very interesting way of delivering it because at the very beginning, what you're introduced to is the idea of Robert Thorne being the main character and the way he sort of lives with Damien, and the idea that Damien is sort of trying to inflict pain and death and misery, albeit at the minute it's not directly. But in actual fact, no, it is very much a rise to power story. Damien's actions, or Damien's sort of road to glory, if you will, is facilitated by others around him that are doing the devil's bidding. So realistically, what you have in here is another character that's almost off screen, or it is off screen, and the presence just known. That character being the devil. The devil is almost pulling the strings around Damien to try and put him in this position so that he is able to sort of fulfill his master plan. Now, very early on, we get introduced to the notion of things are being like strings being pulled from, outside forces. And it's mainly down to the nanny at the beginning who essentially hangs herself. And that opens up the position for Mrs. Baylock to come in, who is the nanny who guides Damien through and helps him on his quest to essentially being able to inherit everything Robert Thorne has. She allows Damien the means to be able to kill off and helps kill off his mum. And yeah, sort of like helps protect him as well from any harm that might come his way. Anybody tries to warn Robert as well about the true plan, about the Antichrist being in existence, and about Damien being the Antichrist, gets killed off as well. And the way that they get killed is, yeah, it's quite gory, to be fair. Not too much, not excessively, but that's where some of the horror element comes in. But I do really like the fact that we are introduced to the fact that there's something not quite right going on, and then a priest basically gives the full explanation to Robert Thorne as a means of a warning. It's a complete exposition dump, let's be honest, but it's done in a very good way because it does feed into exactly why so many people are so worried about this, why so many religious people are worried about this situation. And another interesting part of this story I like as well is the photographer who essentially realizes that he is able to see the plan of death for certain characters, and that when he takes photographs of them, there seems to be a blemish on them which do sort of seem to show or predict the way they're going to die. And the more pronounced it is, the more imminent the death is going to be, including himself. There are so many things I really do like about this movie. The story is so strong and so engaging that I could not look away from it. I enjoyed everything from start to finish on this movie. And it made me appreciate actually sort of just how good, how just this is the first story I think that really does show the devil not to be just evil, but just masterful in the way that he's actually, or it's actually, sort of putting his plan into action. And it's almost said that every sort of possible outcome has already been pre-thought and sort of actioned against before. So yeah, essentially everyone is fighting a losing battle. There is nothing that's going to stop him from putting Damien in a position of power to be able to rule over Earth. Damien's portrayal in this is also superb, in him being very sort of emotionless throughout the movie, him not really saying many words other than daddy to his hopefully to his dad. um, that all just makes him sort of, it takes the humanity side away from him. But the interesting part as well is the fact that he is a little boy in this movie. So when it comes down to a point of having to kill him, not only do you have to kill him in the most horrific way by stabbing him multiple times, but you're then faced with the idea of having to murder a little boy in order to prevent the antichrist from ruling over Earth. And it's, like Robert Thorne says, I can't be so evil as to kill a child. And it is just another piece of diabolical plan the devil has put in place. So overall, that sense of powerlessness that this movie delivers, as well as the very strong story and the excellent performance from all of the characters really, but mainly from Damien. And the story, just, you can delve so deep into this story. It really is just so strong and absolutely fantastic to watch. So for that reason, it's 4 stars from me. So that's my review of The Omen. Have you guys seen it? What did you guys think about it? Whatever you guys thought, please pop it in the comment section below. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be back with another one shortly, but until then, you guys take it easy and I'll catch you on the next one.